Welcome to this autumnal evening brought to you from Liverpool. Welcome. This is where we begin to withdraw from the external environment. So make sure you found yourself somewhere with enough room to lie down a yoga mat or a blanket, and at least an hour. I want you to find a comfortable position, lying down on your back. We're going to take a few minutes to surrender into the earth. We're going to take a couple of minutes of intentional body stillness. One of the more challenging yoga postures. Stillness. So resist those temptations to fidget and close down the eyes. Welcoming a moment of introspection as we switch off from the external world, withdrawing into our inner sanctum. Relaxing the body into the mat. Settling into the bones. Just a few minutes of intentional stillness will prepare the mind for the movement practice ahead. So really commit to stillness. Be here now with your breath. As you inhale, feel the belly rise. And as you exhale, feel how it falls. You may have inadvertently started to deepen your breaths. I'm going to encourage you now to join in with a few rounds of box breath. Let's inhale together for the count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath at the top of the lungs. And then exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's hold the breath there with no air in the lungs for one more second before inhaling for the count of 4. Holding the breath for 4. And exhaling the breath for 4. And then holding the breath for 4. Breathing in holding, breathing out, holding. Join in for the last round of box breath as we inhale for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4. Returning to your natural rhythm of breath, relaxing into the facial muscles, and then blinking the eyes open, coming back into your senses. As we begin, we're going to take the right leg up into the air and just working on flexing and pointing through the toes, circling through the ankle. You can go ahead and keep that right leg bent as you start to point and flex the foot. And then maybe reaching the hands behind the thigh and pulling that leg in towards you. Keep moving through the ankle. And then bending into that right knee, I want you to pull the knee into your chest. Pushing the lower back down into the mat as we try to bring the right knee out into the right armpit. Keep pulling the knee in towards the armpits and see if we can grab a hold of the outside of our right foot. And come into half happy baby, pulling down on the sole of the foot. And then releasing the leg back down. Taking the left leg high. Nice soft bend in that leg as we release through the ankle. Pointing through the toes, flexing the toes back towards your face. And then go ahead and reach for the back of the thigh. Active through that right leg, keep pushing the right heel away. Keep rotating through the ankle, bending the knee and hugging it in. And then taking the knee out to the left, this time pulling it towards the left armpit. See if we can take the arm inside the left leg, reach for the outside of the left foot. Send the heel to the sky, half happy baby. And then releasing, I'm going to take both knees in, circling, releasing a little into the hips, making circles back and forth before taking both heels to the sky. And see if we can try to push the heels towards the sky here, bending into the legs and pedaling out, maybe circling through the ankles. And then taking both thighs with the hands and pulling both legs in. Option here to come into your full happy baby by bending into the knees, grabbing a hold of the outsides of the feet and kicking the feet to the sky. 2 more breaths here. And if you can't quite reach the feet, see where we can reach. 1 more breath. And then giving yourself that little hug, because we're going to have to bring some momentum into the body so that we can find our way to seated position. Finding a comfortable cross-legged seated position. And interlacing the hands and then pressing the palms away. Let's see if we can take the arms up. Keep the gaze forward for now. Releasing the hands. And let's see if we can find the lower back. Pressing the hands into your lower back and just shining the heart through. Lovely stretch in the chest. Let's do 2 more of those as we interlace. Press the palms away. This time you can try to lift your gaze, just taking it easy. On the neck, as you release the hands, maybe grabbing a hold of the elbows this time. And then on this last round, we're going to interlace, press the palms away, lift the gaze, lift the arms. And then release, finding reverse prayer. So that's your thumbs and index fingers touch with your palms away. And then we're going to invert the hands. This can feel very awkward, so just grab a hold of the elbows if you can't quite find reverse prayer. Otherwise, we're here for 3 breaths. No matter where we are, let's connect to breath. And then releasing. We're going to shift the weight forward so that we can come onto our hands and knees. Just checking in with your form. You want your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And I want us to just switch on the core now. So pulling the belly button in towards your spine, pressing into all 10 finger pads, shoulders away from your ears, and extend the right leg. Same rules apply. You can keep any of these stretches dynamic by moving through the ankle. And if you're feeling like a steady eddy, go ahead and release the left hand. Same rules with the wrist. Go ahead and release. And if you're feeling a little wobbly, maybe stay here. Otherwise, let's inhale, reach. Exhale, bring our elbow and knee to kiss. And then inhale, reach. Exhale. One more. And then this time we're going to reach and see if we can reach back. We're trying to catch a hold of the right foot with our left hand, coming into a back bend here as we kick into our hand, making sure that right shoulder and ear aren't compressing, finding space in between shoulder and ear as we kick for 2 more breaths. One more. And then release. Let's take it over to the other side. Extending through the left leg, circling through the ankle. Pressing into all 10 fingertips. And if we are able to stay balanced, releasing the right hand. Let's take an inhale here and exhale, elbow to knee. Just a reminder, this is your practice, so if you're joining me from the studio, just do what feels right for your body today. And if kicking into the hand on this side feels good, let's go for it. Holding for 3. Starting to wake up the back here as we find an extension of the spine. And then releasing back down to your mat. Just want to remind everyone what a child's pose is. Child's pose is your friend. So let's take the knees wide. Let the big toes touch. And let's see if we can walk the bum back towards the heels. Surrendering the forehead down to the earth. Child's pose is your friend, so come back to it anytime you like. Let's lift the gaze. And we're going to see if we can shift the weight forward, bringing the knees back together. Let the toes tuck, lift the knees, pressing into the hands, hips high, coming into downward dog. So our first downward dog, you want to see if you can keep a nice soft bend in the knees and just work on figuring out the distance between your hands and your feet. Depends on the flexibility of the hamstrings. So figuring out whether you need to have the knees bent, if you can start to lower one heel maybe to the mat. Keep pressing into your hands, looking in between your legs, biceps by the ears, hips high, connected to breath. We are going to move slowly forward as we come up onto the tiptoes, knees bent. And maybe for a change we can cross over at the ankles as we walk the feet forward to begin our standing sequence. Easy does it. Remembering if you have blocks, have them to hand here as we find our forward fold. So the knees are bent so that we can protect our lower back. Stomach kisses the top of the thighs, head and neck relaxed. Give the head a wobble, shake it yes, nod it no. And then slowly, I want you to come to standing. There's no rush with this. Your head and your neck lifts last. And you're going to find your mountain pose, Tadasana. You want your feet about hip width distance apart. Nice soft bend in the knees. Distribute the weight amongst the heel and toes. Tailbone slightly tucked so that we can engage the abdomen, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Chest is proud, shoulders relaxed away from our ears, arms down by the side. From here, we're going to shift the weight over into the left foot. So shifting the weight over into the left foot and seeing if we can hug the right knee into our chest. And if we're comfortable here, let's go ahead and take a step back with the right foot, making sure the sole of the right foot is flat to the mat, the hips are square, and both legs are straight. We're going to use the chest and breath here to lead. So let's all inhale together. And as we exhale, we're going to send the chest forward. Let's inhale. And as we exhale, chest leads. Inhaling, creating that length along the spine. And as we exhale, maybe the chest can't go any more forward and we can start to lower it. Maybe the hands find the leg, sending that left hip back as it creeps forward, seeing where the hands fall. Maybe here's where the blocks come in handy as the hands find the leg, the mat, the block. Or if you want a challenge, there's always reverse prayer. Let's hold this for 3 now as we relax the head and neck into the stretch. 2 more. 1 more. And then releasing the hands to either side of the left foot. We're going to bend into that left knee now because we're going to come into warrior 3. As we lift the right foot off the mat, we're trying to straighten into the left leg and the right leg. You can place your hands on your blocks, or go ahead and try lifting one hand into your heart space. Maybe the other hand into your heart space. We've got 3 breaths here. This is a very strong balancing pose. 2 more breaths here, maybe extending the arms forward or extending the arms back for the final breath. You're almost there. Now here's the challenge. You've got to get this right knee back into our chest without letting that right foot touch the mat. Let's see if we can. Don't worry, we've got a whole semester to get where we need to be, which is here and then here, letting it all go and shifting the weight over into the opposite side. So the weight shifts over into your right foot and we're just going to see how it feels to balance on the right leg, hugging the knee into the chest.
wobbling as much as you need to. Remember, balance isn't about being still. It's just about not falling flat on your face. So see if you can stay balanced any which way before sending that left foot back, big step back, straightening through both legs, leading with the chest and breath as we inhale together. Exhale, legs straight, chest leads. Mind that right hip as it creeps forward. Exhale. Inhale here. And as we exhale, maybe the chest starts to lower down and the hands find the leg, the thigh, the calf, the blocks, or the mat. And there's always that additional reverse prayer for those that like the challenge. Let's hold for 3 breaths, no matter where we are in our practice. We can all connect to breath. 2 more. Full head and neck relaxation. 1 more breath. Bending into the right knee now, because we're going to lift off with the left foot, finding warrior 3. Remember, there's options here. You can use the blocks. And just play around with taking one hand off into heart space and the other. If you fall out, don't worry, get straight back in. Take a breath. Let's go, extending the arms. We've got 3 breaths here. 2 more. 1 more. If you're wobbly, fixing your gaze on one point might help as we try and bring that left knee back into our chest without letting that foot touch. The floor is lava. Hug the knee in and let it go. Shake it out. We're going to find our way down to the mat. Finding mountain pose. Let's inhale, arms lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Your hands are on the shins. And then we're going to step back with the right foot. Nice big step back. Dropping down into the right knee. The back of your right foot is flat. We're going to let the right hand find the mat or a block. As we inhale, find a nice easy twist. The left hand goes to the sky. And we gaze to the thumb. And you can stay here for 3, or you can bring both arms parallel to the mat for 2. And maybe you want to tuck the toes on that right foot, lift the right kneecap for the last breath. And then we're going to windmill the arms back, frame your left foot, and just before we leave this, I want to see if we can quad stretch. So bending into the right knee, taking a hold of your foot with your right or left hand and pulling the heel in towards your bum for 2 more breaths. 1 more. Warming up the quadriceps. A little focus point for today's practice as we bring the hands back down to the mat, straighten through your right leg. Left foot goes back and we're in a high plank position. From here, we're going to lower down to the knees. Keep that belly button pulled in. We don't want to let the belly dip. We want to let the chest lead. As we lower down, hands either side of your rib cage. Let's inhale, find your low cobra. Exhale to lower. Back should feel nice and warm as we inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale to lower. Last time, we're going to inhale, lift, pressing that pubic bone into the mat and completely removing the hands from the mat. Let the lumbar take this one and then lowering back down, tucking the toes, pressing into the mat with the hands. Push yourself back up onto your hands and knees. Then we're going to shift the weight back, lift the hips high. Coming into your down dog. Remember, at this point you can always take a child's pose if you are
feeling the stress in the wrists, or you just can't be asked, it's okay. Take a child's pose. We've got 3 breaths here. And you can always inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, let it go, sigh it out. We're not bringing any drama to the mat, we are leaving it at the door. Sometimes it needs an exorcism with the breath, so go for it. Audible exhalations are welcome here. And then we're going to bring the right foot forward in between our hands at the front of your mat, dropping into your left foot. The back of your left foot is flat. Easy twist here as we take the right hand to the sky, gazing to the thumb. And if you want, we can always bring the arms parallel for a little challenge. And there's always a little balance by lifting the left knee. And then we're windmilling the arms. And let's get that quad stretch in. Your quads are going to thank you for this, especially as we work up towards our peak posture. 2 more. 1 more. Oh, I've got a burning bum. Bringing the hands either side of the foot, straightening through your left leg. This time we're going to bring left foot forward so that we can find our forward fold. Each time we forward fold, seeing if maybe we can reach the hands behind the calves, pressing the stomach in towards the thighs, forehead towards the shin. From here, we're going to find mountain pose as we stand. Preparing for our second balancing sequence. This time our big toes can touch as we inhale, lift. Maybe the palms touch, maybe the gaze lifts as we find that little micro back bend. And as we exhale, we fold. And then right leg lifts. We're coming into our standing split. So we're taking the right leg up. And we're going to hold for 3. Keep sending the right leg up. Keep trying to imagine the forehead wants to kiss the shin. And if you want, for the last breath, maybe turning this into a bit of a balance as we press the hand into the back of the calf, lifting the right foot, and then bending into the right knee. As we drop the right foot back down, we're going to find warrior 2. Gazing over the right fingertips, bending into the right knee, left fingertips, left knee. It's this whirl thing here. It's very distracting. My internet. Stay focused, Maxine, stay focused. We've got some options coming up. You can drop this left forearm to your left knee and take the gaze towards the sky. Option 2, you're going to drop the left hand down onto a block to the inside or to the mat of your left foot. Right hand comes up and over. Option 3 is the bind. If you're going to try the bind, that left shoulder wants to come underneath the left thigh, interlace. If you're in the bind, try bird of paradise. Otherwise, everyone, we're just going to stay here for 3. If you're in bird of paradise or you want to give it a go, it's in your practice, the right foot's going to come forward. And we're going to see if we can stand on that right leg. One more breath wherever we are, straightening through that left leg if you're in bird of paradise. And then bringing that right foot forward, releasing the hands down to your mat, finding your forward fold. And then coming back to your standing mountain. We're going to do that again on the opposite side. So let's inhale, big toes touch, take the arms to the sky. And as we exhale, I want you to find your forward fold.
And this time the left leg lifts. Standing split, left leg lifts. 3 breaths here, trying to reach that left leg up as high as we can. Option to bring the right hand to the back of the calf, finding a little balance for the final breath. And then dropping that left foot back down as we find warrior 2. Bending into the right knee, gazing over the right fingertips. Let's reverse this warrior. And then choosing your option. Forearm onto the thigh as you gaze towards the thumb, stage 1. Or reaching that arm up and over as you drop the right hand down to the inside of the right foot, stage 2. Or that right shoulder goes underneath right thigh and we connect behind our back for stage 3. And then we're going to stay for 3 breaths. If you're trying Bird of Paradise, the left foot comes forward and we see if we can stand on the leg. Wherever we are, we've got 1 more breath to connect to. And then we're going to bring the left foot forward, releasing our hands down to the mat. And then slowly come back to standing. As we conclude our second standing sequence, let's find our way back down to the mat. There's options, big toes can touch, palms touch, lift the gaze, inhale. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, find that halfway lift. And then stepping back with the right foot, big step back. Dropping down into the right knee. Back of your right foot is flat. From here, we're going to use the blocks if we need to shift the weight forward and back. So as we shift the weight forward, we feel a hip flexor stretch. So that's the front of your right thigh finds a nice little tug here. And then as we send the weight back, we lift the left toes, hamstring stretch. Let's keep rocking and rolling forward and back. Forward and back. And there's some options here. You can always release the arms. That's going to make this a little bit more of a balance. And on your next exhale, we are going to hold for at least 3 breaths in your half split. Now, if splits is what you're working towards, then you're going to use this left foot to just shimmy the left knee back. Sorry. The right foot is going to shimmy the right knee back. So the left foot doesn't really move, the left leg doesn't really move, and you're just trying to work your way down to the mat. Maybe using a block. Or maybe you were in half Hanuman, and that's okay, that's a good place to stay. We're going to settle down for 3 breaths. Let's see if we can imagine belly towards the thigh, forehead towards the shin. For that final breath here. And I think it's important to relax into any stretch. So let's stay here for 3 more. And if you need to ease off, that's okay. Just relax. The more relaxed we are, the easier it is to stretch. So ease off if you need to. 1 more breath. Nice work, everyone. There really is no graceful way out of this one, but shifting the weight forward any which way you can so that we're able to bring that left foot back, and let's all meet in a high plank position. You can inhale, lift the gaze and lower down, knees, chest, chin, just like we did before, or if chaturanga is in your practice. Inhale, find your low cobra or your up dog. Exhale, down dog for 3 breaths. Remember, child's pose is here for you if you need it. 2 more. 1 more. And then your right foot's going to come forward in between your hands at the front of your mat. Settling down into that left foot. Left knee to the mat. And then rocking and rolling. So as you shift the weight forward, you feel that hip flexor stretch. And as you shift the weight back, toes lift, you feel that hamstring stretch. And just keep rocking yourself forward and back. Blocks are here to help. Hands are here to guide you or challenge you. On your next exhalation, I want you to hold. Let's prepare for this lockdown. Staying with this, or if you want to deepen your practice and move into the splits, you're just going to use your left foot to shimmy your left knee back. So the right leg stays active, extended, toes flexed, and we're just using left knee to move back. The blocks are there to see if you can find some contact, and the breath is there to see if we can maybe relax a little into this very deep stretch. Remember, you can always stay in half Hanuman. That's a great stretch just to stay with it. Think belly to the thigh, forehead towards the shin. Let's lock this one down for 3 breaths. One more. And then in your most graceful way possible, shifting the weight forward so that you can bring your right foot back into your high plank. And then taking your breath in, choosing how you lower down as you exhale, inhaling that low cobra or up dog, exhaling, finding your down dog for 3 breaths here, preparing the mind. I'll prepare the body. Coming into our final standing sequence now. I'm going to take a leap of faith here as we look in between our hands, bend the knees, and see if we can jump or walk the feet forward in between your hands at the front of your mat. As you find that forward fold, think of deepening that forward fold by sending the sit bones a little higher, legs a little warmer, and then coming back into standing. Staying here. If you've lost that connection to breath, let's find it. We're going to shift the weight over into that left foot. See if we can hug the left knee, the right knee into our chest. And you want to stay here. If you're wobbling, finding your balance, that's okay. Otherwise, peace fingers, big toe. This is where it pays to have shoes and socks off with yoga, because you can really get a good grip of that big toe. On your next exhalation, I want you to kick the heel away. Send the breath in. Exhale, send the leg out. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, send the leg back in. No matter where we are, I want you to all release the foot and try and keep that foot in mid-air. We're working the quad here, holding for 3, for 2. One more breath, and then we're going to find our tree pose. And your tree might be here with your right foot against your ankle. Remember, this is a lovely way to open the hips, so send that right knee out. It doesn't have to be a balancing pose, but if you want to bring a challenge, your foot finds the calf, and maybe even the inner thigh. The more you press this foot into your leg, the more stable you become, and if you're rooted down, then maybe it's time to express yourself as your branches grow tall. Exhale. Finding 2 more breaths in our tree pose. Every tree is different. Maybe you're a little pumpkin sat on the floor right now, and that's also okay. You've got 1 more breath. Ooh, and release. Moving over to the opposite side, let it go. Take a breath in and out, shifting the weight into the right foot as you hug the left knee into your chest. Seeing if we can stay balanced, and if you want to progress, it's peace fingers, big toe. Taking that breath in, and on your next exhale, kicking the heel away. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, send that leg out. Inhale here. Exhale, bring it back. And we're all going to release the foot now as we hold for 3. For 2, really strengthening that quad here and stretching. Fit and flexy, 1 more breath. Let's find that tree pose. Where's your tree at today? The more we press the foot into the thigh, calf, ankle, the more stable we become. Connecting to 3 breaths here in tree pose, your tree pose. Welcoming in that change of season. The darker days draw in as your branches reach high, centering yourself, releasing both feet back down to the mat, letting it go. Let's find our way down to the mat. Big toes can touch. There's also chair pose. As we inhale, lift the gaze, lift the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, that halfway lift. And as we exhale, we're stepping it back with the right foot. Drop the right knee down to the mat. Back of your right foot is flat. I want you to bring the left hand to the inside of your left foot. Maybe take the foot to the edge of the mat. Working into a lizard's lunge here. So just feeling around into your left hip. So as you move into the edge of your left foot, you start to feel into that left hip. What's it saying? And if you can, we're going to see if we can maybe consider dropping down to a block as we bring the elbows to rest on a block. Maybe one day the elbows resting down on the mat. No matter where we are though, we can all stay connected to breath as we hold this lizard's lunge for 3. And then you want to join me, we're lifting the right knee and just bringing a little movement into this as we rock forward and back for 2. For 1. Dropping the knee, coming back up onto the hands, and then let's find another quad stretch while we're here, why not? Bringing that hand to clasp the foot, bringing the heel into your butt and staying. And breathing. And then releasing. We're going to send that left foot all the way over to the right now as we find our 90-90. So there's an option here to bring a block underneath that left butt. And I'm going to turn around for the purpose of the camera. So the left shin is forward. And the right shin is back. And if you want to stay in 90-90, that's a great way to work into the outer left hip, the 90-90, because of this 90-degree angle in the legs here. And all we're going to try and do is twist from the belly and bring the hands to the shin. And if you want to try pigeon, if you're familiar with pigeon, then go ahead and extend that right leg, making sure that right kneecap is facing down the mat. Don't want to injure the knee here. And you can achieve that by bringing that left heel in if you need to. What we're trying to do is find a stretch in the outer left hip here. We're going to settle down and hold our pigeon. So get comfy. Maybe don't go to your edge just yet. Ease your way into this one. Maybe stay proud in your pigeon for a few breaths. There's always an option on your next exhale to lead the heart towards the earth, melting down to find your maybe forehead to a block. Maybe extending your arms and your forehead finds the mat. Let's see if we can stay with this as we connect to breath. The body naturally wants to bank over to the left, so let's keep it sending that energy to the right. And if it's tough, you can always find box breath, inhaling for the count of 4, holding for the count of 4, before exhaling for the count of 4, holding for 4, before inhaling again. It's our breath that's going to get us through this very tough stretch in a very important part of the body, this piriformis group of muscles, the ones that we often overlook when we sit down for prolonged periods of time. This one's a great way to reinvigorate that area. And if this isn't doing anything for you, then there's always the option to walk the hands over to the right as we find the last minute or so here. It's not an exact science, this. It's about seeing if we can not go to the full extent. There's always an option for everyone, 90-90. Or your hands reaching over to the right. Let's settle in for a final 3 breaths. Lovely jubbly. We're gonna slowly bring ourselves back upright. But you know how much I like a quad stretch, so before we leave, I want you to have a little look over your shoulder and start eyeing up that right heel, because we're going to bend into that right knee and see if we can reach back for the foot, bringing that heel in towards the bum, any which way it will go, maybe even bringing the foot into your elbow crease. Staying here as we connect to 3 breaths, or if mermaid pose is something you want to try, that left hand reaches up, back, and we connect. One more breath here, nice big breath in. Nice big breath out, and then we release. Big press into the hands now, because we want to try and send that left leg up into a 3-legged dog, or just do what you need to do here to release. The left hip, shake a leg. Ay, ay, ay. And let's take the right foot up and back. And let's bring that right foot to the outside of your right hand as we work on dropping the left knee down. Ooh, we're almost here on the home run. And finding your lizard's lunge. Deciding whether or not you want to stay up on your hands. Feeling a little into your right hip. Any noticeable difference? Are we even that in tune with the hips, right and left? I think I'm tighter. Righter is tighter. Maybe dropping down to your elbows. Or you're with me as we lift the left kneecap and rock the weight forward and back, finding 3 breaths here. 2. And 1. Settling down now as we find our way into 90-90, sending the right foot all the way over. Remember, there's a block underneath your right butt. If you need to, support yourself. The reason why I encourage the use of blocks is because it allows you to take a load off, which means that you can potentially relax. And if you can relax into a stretch, you're not going to induce your stretch reflex, which is what happens when we're tense. So the more relaxed, the more flexible. And now let's see if we can extend that left leg. If you're working on pigeon, it's extending the left leg, kneecap to the mat. And settling down to connect with breath as we inhale, find that space, exhale, belly towards the mat, maybe dropping to the elbows, forehead finds a block or a little pillow with the fists. The body naturally wants to bank over to the right. Send the energy towards the left. Easing off or adjusting, finding the block. As we settle down into some stillness. You can take the arms over to the left if you want to. Really deepen this. Coming into our last 3 breaths here, so don't rush the exhales. And when you're ready, I want you to slowly bring yourself back up onto your hands. Lest we forget that quad stretch. Eyeing up that heel because we're going to see if we can bend into this knee. Ooh, definitely tighter on this side. See if we can grab a hold of your right foot with your right hand. No, try that one again. Left foot, left hand, heel. Oh, there's the flaming bum. Hot ass, what can I say? And then if mermaid pose is something you want to try, you want to try and bring this heel into your elbow, this foot into your elbow crease, and then taking the right arm up and back, Connecting. Holding for 2 more breaths. And then releasing yourself back into a puddle. Maybe bringing that left foot forward now. And if you want to, bring the feet to the mat and knock the heels and the knees in. So it's time to end this. It's long enough. You start confusing heels and knees, and left and right. It's time for a pumpkin spice latte. So I want you to slowly settle yourself down to the mat, or stay seated if you're preparing for meditation. Taking a breath in, and as we exhale, I want you to lower yourself down to the mat via a boat. Set sail as we find our way down into Shavasana for your relaxation, your well-deserved relaxation. So making those adjustments, maybe socks on, or finding that comfortable seat as you prepare for meditation. It's just time to surrender. It's time to hold on to this precious couple of moments before the day begins in earnest, holding on to this time dedicated to you. It's time to bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Deepening the breath. Just basking in this bubble of bliss we've created. Honouring the space we've shared with everyone today. Rolling yourself over onto your right side of your body. And keeping your eyes closed, find your way to a comfortable seated position. We're going to finish with a round of lion's breath to conclude the practice. We inhale together, and as we exhale, we stick the tongue out, make an audible exhalation, and we just let go of any self-consciousness. Let's give it a go. Inhaling through the nose. Two more, just like that. Giving your palms a little rub and bringing them over the eyes as you blink the eyes back open, coming back into the room and to your senses. Maybe you want to bow your head in gratitude to yourself for getting to the mat. By far one of the hardest yoga poses is getting through the door, so well done. Namaste. Thank you.